Hello, welcome to our Business 361 final project. I'm Griffin. I'm gonna start it off for us. So we did our project relating to Second Soul. So a little bit of background on Second Soul. Second Soul is a running specialty store established all the way back in 1981 by Steve Hickson. There's multiple locations across Ohio, all with the same goals and the products in mind. They're all selling running shoes, apparel, nutrition, other things to help out runners in their journeys or in their careers. The project we're discussing is The Lab, which is based in the Youngstown store. And The Lab was a new space created in 2025 where the store could host private events, watch parties, team fittings, and much, much more. You'll get a little bit of background on how it came to be and the processes used to start it up.
Hi, I'm Ashton Lee. So the project scope, the project is transforming the Boardman Second Soul's basement storage room into a multi-purpose Nike collaboration space for team fittings, watch parties, and community events. The project is 70% complete and set to launch on June 26, 2025, alongside Nike Athlete Faith, which she is trying to break the 4 minute mile event. And then renovations include new lighting, flooring, doors, and electrical systems, as well as promotional materials for marketing. The project is funded by Nike and Second Soul. And overall, we expect the project to be done timely with Nike approval and strong community engagement to make the launch successful. And for the time, cost, performance trade-off assessment, the project is scheduled to launch on June 26th, and to recover from minor delays, the team is extending work hours and adjusting schedules, which increases overall labor cost. The main trade-offs are between time, cost, and quality. Time is affected by the contractor availability. Cost is rising due to overtime and expedited materials, and performance could be impacted if work is rushed. So to manage these risks, the team plans to negotiate with Nike on cost, use extended work hours for efficiency, and perform quality checks before approving each phase to make sure no work is left unfinished. And going into the work breakdown structure, we have the 7 levels, so one through seven, the tasks, which overall project, planning coordination, site prep, construction and renovation, technology and equipment setup, marketing and promotion, and the launch event for Breaking Four. We have a planned finish date of 6/26/25. Our actual finish date was 6/26/25. So we were on time for that. Our initial budget was 30,000, and then we had an actual cost of 32,000. So we had a overall cost variance of 2,000 over the initial budget.
Hi, I'm Thomas Nelson. So the the first phase of the preliminary schedule was in February 2025, where the vision was finalized, Nike reps were met, and they secured funding for the project. The next phase was pre-construction, which was in March 2025. The staff cleared the storage room, relocated inventory, finalized design, and hired construction contractors for the next phase, which was the construction phase, which was March to April 2025. Lighting was installed, flooring as well, paint, electrical upgrades, installed tech equipment, and to keep on track with this, weekly contractor updates were received. The next phase, event planning and marketing, was in June. The plan was Faith Kip Yegan event. Promotional items were ordered for the Breaking Four event and promotion on social media of what events the lab can host. Also in June, tech was tested, soft launches of the area were held, and the space was prepped. On June 26, 2025, the lab officially launched with a party seating around 50 people. For resource allocation was key in ensuring project success. The staff had to be reassigned from their normal duties to clear the storage room, and contractors were hired for lighting, flooring, and electrical work. Financial resources were received from Nike were carefully allocated for the construction and the promotion of the event. Marketing resources were also allocated for event promotion and digital content creation to promote the event. Throughout the project, careful allocation of the budget, updates from contractors, and team responsibilities allowed Second Soul to stay on target with their schedule. The risk assessment and response. The first risk for the Second Soul event was construction delays. The response from Second Soul for this was regular updates from the construction contractors to ensure that they were ahead or on track. The second risk was budget overrun. The response for this was careful tracking of all the expenses that were going into the project. The third risk was low engagement on the event launch. The response for this from Second Soul was strong promotional strategy using social media and early RSVP links to ensure that they had a good turnout for Faith Kipyegon's Breaking 4 event. Overall, Second Soul responded very well to the risk of the project.
Okay, so for the finalized schedule just talks about the phase timeline and the cost estimates. The cost estimates that came up along with the timeline. So the finalized schedule reflects the timeline that began in winter of 2025 with the initial clearing and preparation of the basement in the Boardman Second Soul location. So it was designed to transform the space that wasn't really being used into like the private area for fittings, events, and the viewing parties. So it involved like moving storage, preparing the area, the construction, and all the work that went into it. The work was scheduled for approximately 9 to 10 weeks, with an additional 2 weeks allotted for equipment installation and technology testing. The final stretch focused on promotional planning, content creation, and event logistics, which this led to the launch event tied to the Faith Kipyegon's attempt to break 4 minutes in the mile on June 26, 2025. So overall, the project span was about 5 months from initial clearance to the event execution. So then it goes into some of the estimates. So as I just stated, the clearing and prep would take around 5 weeks starting in the winter of 2025, along with the construction, which was 9 to 10 weeks, and the tech install and testing was 2 weeks. Altogether, the project duration was about 5 months, and it was completed in June. So some of the cost estimates, so refurbishing, which would be things like walls, doors, lighting, and labor, that was around $15,000. Electrical was around $8,500. The Nike branding and materials was around $2,500. Marketing, things like promos, shirts, and digital costs was around $2,500. Event costs were $1,500. And then the financial requirements, which was the cash flow, it needed to be aligned with the project phases to avoid bottlenecks, which is a rolled up combines costs over time. And some of the funding sources was Nike partnership and Second Soul's budget allocation. So then managing the project, this went into the stakeholder analysis. So the stakeholders were things like Nike, the Nike brands, Second Soul, contractors, installers, event attendees, local coaches, PTs and fitness, and then the social media. They each had a role and interest level and influence level, and then the engagement strategy. So as you can see in the chart, the role of the Nike was the funding and branding. and they were a high interest level because they helped a lot with the project. So that would mean they have a high influence level. And then their engagement would be just regular updates that align with the goals. And then things with the contractor, their role was the build out and technical implementation. And they still had a pretty high interest level, but they weren't the highest. Their engagement strategy would be to clear timelines and payment schedules. The people that would attend the event, they obviously had high interest level because they would be the one that would be actually using it. Um, and their engagement would be to collect the feedback. The local coaches, they would be the partners for future events. They also kind of had a high interest level, and their engagement would be early invites and future collaborations. And then social media would be their role would be the brand visibility, which would be ultimately bringing people in, and their engagement would be consistent content and interaction, which is keeping engagement with the project.
Okay, so now we're going to move into like a update phase during the project. So in this update, we're currently assuming that the project's at 70% completion with a few slight delays, but overall, the project's still looking in good shape, still looking to be planned on time. Initially with some performance index, as we've known in chapter 13, there are two key performance indexes, the cost performance index and the scheduling performance index. So the CPI in this case was measuring the efficiency of the project over time. And the index we're assuming in this case is greater than one due to the fact that some work is being done in-house, like moving stuff around from the initial, like all the extra storage and material that they sell there into different sections, and social media work being done by interns and promotion. That's actually what I did over the summer, so I got to do it firsthand, promote the space, promote the updates of it as it went on, and it saved some time and some money because I didn't have to hire anybody to do it. And then the scheduling performance index is calculated by putting the earned value over planned value. In this case, we're assuming a little bit less, so around 0.9 due to the delays we've had with projects, which we'll get into, like with projectors and lights and other certain areas where there was a little bit of a delay, but we still overall came through. So some key events that happened was first we started out by cleaning out the space and prepped for renovations while finding space for all the other merchandise that was there at the time. We put somewhere else that way we could still sell it, have access to it. Then after that, we started with the flooring. This included putting a track surface down at the bottom so athletes could try out spikes and other shoes without worrying about slipping or hurting themselves. And it was the basis of the project, despite having like some delays there, but it's important to have that foundation since it's running store. You want to have the area so they can try the stuff out. And after that, the Nike brand reps came in and improved ideas of like how they wanted their logos put, where they wanted things painted, displayed, other promotional material be spread out throughout the whole area. And then we presented that to them. And then after that, we began ordering like materials, furnitures, projectors, everything like that. And after that, we had to put up some walls down there. So like walls, shelvings, other stuff like that. It also allowed to start putting up the stock that we would have down there, all the Nike specific merchandise and promotional material to go up. Then lighting and electrical was installed. One of the key things we wanted to have was color changing lights to allow for like specific teams or events to create like include their colors, create more of a like personal feel when they're down there. And lastly, some other things like promotional materials arriving for the Breaking Four event in particular. It's included like stickers, posters, shirts, and everything like that. You'll see in a little bit. Just kind of help promote the event, get people out there and enjoy the event. So nonetheless, there were some issues that arose when doing the project. So starting inventory and space, we have a limited space in the basement, so we had to kind of decide where we wanted to put things before contractors arrived. And this took away from like the day-to-day work because we were trying to figure out things, create a plan, and move stuff, all while dealing with customers as well. And then promotion material delays, uh, concept art and promotional materials were delayed because too many people communicating at once. We had my boss, Mark, and our owner, Steve, and then a couple other like workers dealing with Nike brand reps and then Nike tech reps. So the two different things, all causing confusion with the timelines because everyone had a different idea of where it was going. And then incorrect lighting was ordered. So initially, when we ordered lights, regular lights were delivered instead of the planned color changing lights, delaying like the installation of that because we wanted to have that because that was a key part of the setup and the atmosphere down there. So wanted to make sure we had that. So that caused some delays. Another delay was the projector shipping delay. So the projector we used like put stuff on the wall for watch parties, everything like that. The arrived later than expected. So the contractor we had handling electrical work had to leave for another job, so that had some issues arise as well, but we responded to them pretty well. So the inventory and spacing, we decided to get rid of old displays, furniture, and other unused items in the basement that was taking up space. And this allowed myself and the other staff to move things during downtime and help reorganize the area, allowing for an efficient and clean installation process to begin. And then after the promotional material delays, we decided to streamline the communication. So the store manager, Mark, and our one Nike rep, Ian, uh, they decided to just be the two people in charge of the communication, allowing for simple and effective communication. So that way people's dates and times didn't get confused. Then Mark also coordinated the contractors to keep a schedule consistent through digital trackers. They had a spreadsheet they were able to use to discuss the dates of when they expected things to be done and their progress on things. And incorrect lighting, pretty simple. We just reordered the color changing lights, sent back the other ones, adjusting the schedule accordingly. And projector shipping delays. So Mark actually installed the projector himself during the store hours, and I got to help out with that. And it was a little bit of a interesting operation. We were able to figure it out ourselves, and this kept the project on schedule, but it took away from day-to-day tasks of like ordering stock, dealing with customers, everything like that. And there we go.
Hi, I'm Spiro Pappas. I'm also a runner who is very familiar with the Second Soul brand. I'm with the project uh, update. We have a revised estimate that's currently 70% complete with slight delays. And that's due to the projector and the design approvals as well as the light delays. And then with our CPI being over 1.0, that reflects strong cost efficiency with regards to both labor and marketing. So that's specifically with the internal workers and the team at Second Soul. And then the SPI is 0.9, showing progress about 10% behind schedule. And estimated completion of the project is pushed back 1 week, but the team believes they can finish on time, just because the delays are so minor. And then the cost increase between 4 and 7% projected. So we're still within the budget. For the management issue, problem description, there was the major challenge that was coordination and communication gaps between the Nike reps, the management, and the contractors that Griffin was talking about earlier. This was just minor delays. This just caused minor delays due to overlapping, and then there's also minor delays due to overlapping tasks, and then having multiple communication channels has caused confusion, leading to the overlap as well. Management issues response was weekly project meetings that were implemented by the PM, and then which is also the store manager. And then the team began using a shared digital tracker to clarify task assignments and provide project updates. And then, like Griffin said earlier, we started streamlining all the communication between the store manager, Mark, and the Nike representative, Ian. So the result was faster coordination, reduced duplicate works and efforts, and then smoother progress flow. Keys to successful project completion. So some of the key success factors were clear visions, aligning Nike's brand with local community goals, transparent stakeholder communication, and then effective event execution and strong marketing push for the final stages of the event. Success will greatly boost both Nike's and Second Soul's reputation, primarily within the local Boardman region. So this is a big event that could help future sales and just give them a better look for the community. So a summary of our lab project. Overall, the project remains on track with minor and manageable delays. Cost was only up 4 to 7%, so we were still on budget, and the effective communication and collaboration between stakeholders is essential towards the completion of the project, and maintaining schedule and budget flexibility will allow for a smooth finish in these final stages. Thank you for listening, and that's the end of our presentation.